Hi, class. So first off, I miss you a lot. And second off, we are doing some new content today with our function unit. So I'm making this video and I hope that it helps and that it will, be beneficial for you all. So we're going to start by looking at some practice problems. And here is one thing. One example of a problem that you're going to see today. And what we're focused on now is finding the average rate of change. The average rate of change is a lot like your average speed on a trip. So if I'm driving to Lexington and my average speed as soon as I leave my house is 55 miles per hour, then what that means is that throughout my entire trip, I had an average speed of 55 miles per hour. It doesn't mean that I went 55 the whole time. It just means that's what it averaged out to. So whenever we're looking for the average rate of change, in this problem, we have a function given to us on a table. And the most important part is always going to be our interval. So this interval is where the x values are from 5 to 8. So I only care about what happens from 5 to 8 on this table. So I'm going to then go and look at my table, and I'm going to find those values. So when x is 5, f of x is 19. When x is 8, f of x equals 10. Okay, and that's a lot. F of x is the same thing as y. Okay, so if you think about when x is 5, y equals 19. We just use f of x when we talk about functions. So to find that average rate of change, we are going to have to use a formula. So my formula is f of 8 minus f of 5 over 8 minus 5. This is a lot like the slope formula, where my y or my f of x's go on top and my x's go on the bottom. Okay, so I'm going to plug in what I know. At 8, the value is 10, so f of 8 is the same thing as 10. When I've got f of 5, that value is 19, and then my denominator, 8 minus 5, stayed the same. So when I do that, I'm ready to simplify. 10 minus 19 is negative 9. 8 minus 5 is 3. So I've got negative 9 divided by 3, and that gives me negative 3. So negative 3 is my average rate of change from 5 to 8. And that would be your answer. So at this point, if you are confused, pause the video, watch it again, and reach out to me if you still need help. Okay? So this is finding the average rate of change using a table. We can also find the average rate of change using a graph. The process is the same, except instead of looking at a table for numbers, we have to pick the numbers out of a graph. So still, my interval is the most important. I care about the values of x from negative 3 to 7. So when x is negative 3, my value is negative 10. Make sure you pay attention to the scale on the y-axis. And when x is 7, so I go over to positive 7, which is here, and I go up, the value is 10. So I have labeled those points, and I have circled them, okay? That's really important to keep things straight. So then I use my formula, f of 7 minus f of negative 3 over 7 minus negative 3. Remember, the y's go on top, x's go on the bottom. I fill in my numbers. F of 7 is 10. F of negative 3 is negative 10. My denominator stays the same. 10 minus negative 10 is positive 20. Be careful on signs. 7 minus negative 3 is positive 10. And 20 divided by 10 is 2. All right, so remember, you could have switched the order of these, but if you do, then the bottom also has to switch. So make sure those line up and those line up. And I hope this helped. And if you need anything else, let me know.